Let's talk about the rain side of this. So yes, we have that severe potential, right? We're going to have gusty winds, possibly some hail, but all of these thunderstorms have the potential for producing heavy rain. And I don't think we're going to see widespread flood concerns, but it's so juiced. I mean, you step outside and it just feels bleh. You know, it's like heavy air. You can barely take a deep breath. And that type of air allows for enough rain that you can have street flooding occur. So anytime we have a thunderstorm kind of pop up on radar in this zone, you should be prepared that you might end up with a quick 6 inches of water kind of hanging out on the street.
Yeah, I think New Orleans is incredible in that yes, it's prone to flooding. It's very susceptible to it, but they have this very fancy, expensive pump system.
Ooh,
but even that
and it works really well.
It works really well.
Until it's too much.
Until it's too much. And sometimes that can happen. Now, you do have the threat for flooding, you're noticing, as we head in through Saturday, but notice the level 2 gets introduced for Sunday and Monday. That's been pretty consistent now for the past 24 hours, and now we've introduced Tuesday, but at least areas in the southeast are getting a little bit of a break.
Yeah, one thing to point out on Monday, it does include western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee. We're going to show you a lot of maps throughout the hour on Asheville, but just take that as a representation for the whole area. There's so many small communities. You think about Chimney Rock, you think about Boone. All of western North Carolina and eastern Tennessee is really raw still. It takes years to move past what they went through. So just know Sunday into Monday, heavy rain, something to keep in mind locally for those folks.
Yeah, and really messy scenario in the atmosphere. That low eventually closing off, and then we'll see the development of another low along the coast. You don't want an area of low pressure moving along or around you. It helps
or anywhere near the Gulf.
Or anywhere near the Gulf, because it does allow for that enhancement of moisture. And so paying attention to some of the stronger storms that could yield some of these rainfall rates even earlier in the week were approaching 4 to 5 inches per hour in New Orleans. So we have that yet again. And again, not everybody will see the flooding, but there could be spots that get overwhelmed quickly.
It's just, this is a part of our country that you can pull off rain rates that you can't anywhere else in the United States. I mean, just being a former Gulf Coast resident for almost 10 years of my life, I've never seen rain like I've seen on the I-10 corridor. It is gnarly. It's a totally different animal. Looking at satellite with our water vapor imagery, it kind of gives us a snapshot of where the moisture is in the cloud deck. At some points 12 hours ago, we had greens. That's like the highest level of saturation. So, you know, the whole saying, when it rains, it pours, I swear that was developed somewhere in the Gulf. It had to be. There's a look at the severe component of this. These are just released for tomorrow and also Sunday. They're highlighting the Gulf Coast of Florida. This is also a coastline, the Big Bend, where it's easy to produce water spouts, and that would be tracking towards land. So that could lead to a tornado.
Yeah, we had those special marine warnings even yesterday. I don't think anything really translated, but for people that are trying to get out on the boat, whether it's fishing, whether it's just having fun, note that even out on the water, you could have some lightning accompanying these storms and also the threat for those water spouts.